Zoe is lying, guys. Well, you had a real serious thick skin to walk in.
And back broad.
Yeah.
Zoe had such an intimate connection with Movado. She considering switching sides. Yeah, what's going on here?
So we back at it again. Yours truly, College Boy Jesse. We're here, the home of Champions 47 production, and I'm here with my classmates again. Right? We came together again, of course, by the Calabar app. And from the far right, I have Tommy Sanchez.
Good night.
The one and only 47 Runzi.
Good night.
Anderson Harry.
Present, sir.
We have somebody late for class in the middle here.
Detention.
Somebody late. And today we have a special guest. We have a guest who has been traveling the world for a long time. And she's here with us, so we have international guests on the inside. The one and only Travel with Zoe.
Hey
guys.
So, I have so much questions for Zoe. We have so much questions for Zoe. But you know, it's just a conversation. So, I mean, I'm going to start basic. Zoe, how are you? How was your day? What's the vibes?
My day was normal. I just ran some errands, did some
yeah.
cooking, and then came to the podcast.
All right. So, I learned of Zoe in a crazy way. We met at Pan on the Greens, and it just so happened I went for food, and I was sitting down waiting for food, and for some, I don't know, I was sitting next to Zoe, not knowing who she was, and Curleen, big up yourself, Curleen walk over to me and was like, you know who's this next to you? I was like, no. And she started talking to Zoe. So I'm clueless. And then she started sharing with me, you know, Zoe is this vlogger and she travels the world and, you know, she's here. And then we decided to invite Zoe to a couple events that I had around that time. Because I found it very interesting that, you know, this person is so in love with our culture. She had a conversation with me and I was chatting with her about, you know, soca music and that type of vibe. And then so she literally, my pause had to raise, boy, when I was talking to her about what it meant to her. So this is what, I mean, we're going to have a conversation today and you're going to express some of them things so that the people who looking on would also get that backstory of our culture and what it means to somebody who have seen so many parts of the world and love, you know, what we have to offer. Why are you late for class? Come and sit, please.
She want to eat.
You want to fool your face. You want to fool your face. Come and sit in classroom. When you finish.
You're done here already. Nah.
Watch. All right, yeah. So my first question in trying to get to know Zoe, what was it like for you growing up? Firstly, where are you from?
Yeah, sorry, do you have another question?
No, where are you from and like what it was like growing up? Yeah.
I'm from like the countryside in the south of England. So wait, am I talking to the camera or community?
Anybody, you could just talk.
Yeah. So it's like an hour outside of London, but it's like
Right.
completely the countryside. So there's not really much like diversity, not really much going on, you know,
Right.
just like English countryside. So I went to private school. I hated it because you had to be like a really specific way to fit in. Again, not very diverse, just very like everyone was kind of the same, to put
Right.
it simply. And I feel like I was always seeking something else because for some reason, like, my hair's not even drastic. It's just like curly and a bit frizzy, yeah. But you had to have this like straight, perfect hair. You had to be really slim and all these things to like fit in my school. So I always felt like, oh, I'm not good enough for them, you know, or I'm not like what they want. I didn't really have that many friends at school. They used to look at me away because apparently I didn't look as good as them or whatever. So I was always like, I guess, seeking another environment or, you know what I mean? So then when I was 16, I went to Notting Hill Carnival for the first time. Is this what I honestly can't remember what I told you at that fair. I think I was a bit drunk, but maybe I told you this. That I went to the carnival in London for the first time, and that would be the first time that I probably really heard soca and probably really dancehall as well, apart from like Sean Paul, you know. So yeah, and when I was at the carnival, I was like, oh my gosh, like there's all these different people, like old, young, fat, thin, tall, short, black, white, rich, poor, whatever. And they're all just like dancing together, and they're all just like having a good time and talking to strangers and like uplifting each other. And you know what I mean? I was like, I don't really know what this is, but I kind of need to know, because this seems like much more welcoming than the places I've been experiencing, you know? Right. So I literally went home and just Googled like carnival music, like on the computer. And then it came up. For some reason, it ended up taking me to dance hall, which makes no sense because it should have taken me to soca. But for some reason, I ended up discovering dance hall like on YouTube and stuff as a result of that. But like I said, I'm from the countryside where like there wouldn't really be many people there who would share that interest with me or whatever. So I just was like learning about it, you know, on the computer. Right. And then obviously I was 16, so like soon after that I could start, you know, going to places by myself, taking the train to London, whatever. So I ended up like, spending more time in London and like meeting people, you know, who were also into that and stuff. And I kept going back to the carnival. Then I made more friends who were into like Caribbean culture. Then I discovered soca through them. And so then because of that, I always wanted to go to the Caribbean, and that's, I guess, why we are where we are.
Wow.
So
what it's like your family dynamic? You have siblings, you have like,
so I'm the oldest. There's 4 of us.
Okay.
So I'm 32, and then the others are literally like 31, 30, and 29.
Right.
So.
And what are their thoughts, like your parents, what are their thoughts in terms of your choices, in terms of following something so different? You know?
I don't really ask my siblings their thoughts, to be honest, but my parents, I mean, even my parents, I think the culture in England's a little bit different from here. Like, I think here people usually maybe have to hear their parents' opinions maybe a bit more than we do in England. Like, I think in England it's quite common that, you know, especially if you're going to university, you probably leave your parents' house when you're like in your early 20s or even like 18, 19.
Right.
And you go and stay in the city where you're going to university. And do you know what I mean? So your parents don't maybe have quite as much input like typically in the UK once you reach adulthood as maybe they do here. So like my parents, they wouldn't really say like, oh, don't do that. Or, you know, once I'm an adult, it's kind of like my choice, and they just generally like support me in most things. I mean, in the beginning, my dad would sometimes ask like, oh, when do you think you're going to come home? Like maybe he thought it was, you know, once I started traveling like full time, he maybe thought it was just going to be like a short term thing. But I think then after he realized my TikTok was actually like making money and that I basically wasn't really going to stop, he now is really supportive, and he's like more than 80 years old, and he watches TikTok because of me.
Wow.
So, and he even says like, do I want him to come and visit me in Trinidad? Like, you know, so yeah, he's really supportive, even though it's probably maybe a bit hard for him to understand, like being from that generation and stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
that
one thing he always hates, like if he sees a video where there's like whining or any kind of like dancing, he's like, oh, I hate that. What does he call it? He calls it simulated shagging.
Oh,
Wait, gotta pick up that one. Simulated shagging.
So like he's always like, oh yeah, your TikToks look so good, but the one thing I hate is that simulated shagging.
Wow.
She's like really interested. Like my mum could literally name like 10 soca artists now. You would definitely be one of them.
Well, I get you one. I need top 10.
My mum was like, oh, College Boy Jessie has like really warm energy. I don't know. So I think she's a fan. Yeah. My siblings, I don't ask them what they think. To be honest. I don't know.
So you don't think any of your siblings want to come and experience it?
My sister, maybe. Me and my sister are kind of close, but my brothers, we're not really close. I'm fine with them, but we're just not like, we don't talk that much.
Yeah, they would look at it as my sister assimilating shagging. You understand?
Yeah, see, Zoe tells she family, what is on them nose? I'm out.
You understand?
She gone.
So, all right.
Love the culture.
How many countries since you're vlogging and travel with Zoe? How many countries have you seen?
Well, actually, most of the travels happened before the vlogging.
Okay.
I'm 32, right? And I took my first solo trip when I was like 19, I think. So that's like 13 years ago. And TikTok's only really been around for like not that long.
Not long.
So I've only been doing TikTok for 3 years, but I've been traveling a lot for like 13 years.
Right.
So most of it happened before the TikTok. But I used to do like blog posts on a website.
Okay.
So I paid for a domain, TravelWithZoe.org, like
what?
ago, and I used to blog on that.
Right.
Before.
So let's say fan number. Well, over 50
So,
countries, like.
I've been to like I think 52 countries like in my life, but some of
Wow.
them I was a child as well.
Okay,
Like
okay.
I've counted like all of them, including when I was a child.
Okay, okay. And from traveling, right, what would you say is the strangest thing you've experienced? And where would
I
that
think,
be?
like when you travel a lot, like nothing is strange anymore. Like that's what it does. Is you're like, okay, this is just what happens here. Like I've been to countries where like when you eat your meal, you eat it on the floor. I'm not saying everyone does, but I've been in countries where the families I stayed with would eat the meal outside on a mat on the floor, and we'd all eat from the same big plate thing. I've
Right.
been to countries where bedtime even for small children is midnight, but I've been to other countries where bedtime for small children is 7 p.m. Like there's like nothing strange anymore. I've been to countries where like you can like burp and it's not rude, but been to countries where you can't even eat with your left hand because it's rude. Do you know what I mean? Like so like the concept of what's rude, what's polite, what's normal, what's strange, it's like a social construct. Like you can cross one border and what's rude there is polite there, and what's illegal there is legal there. Like it's literally a social construct. Like nothing is strange, literally. I don't know.
Welcome to our class, Miss Mila Caribe.
Milan late.
Thank you for having me.
Penance. Yeah,
So we're in conversations with Zoe. I just catching up, so she just sharing her experience.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
You too. I've seen you on Instagram, yeah.
Yeah. And so Zoe traveled to over 50 countries. Now, the thing is this, right? How many languages could you speak, or have you had like challenges like in certain countries where I really can't read or can't understand this, or like?
Yeah. Like I had like a 24-hour layover in China. I needed to get some food, and I'm not joking. Like I didn't have internet on my phone, and I'm vegan, so I really like didn't want to accidentally eat meat, but I was just going in these like takeaways, and it was just these huge menus on the wall with like like the Chinese letters, and I was just like, hello, like does anyone speak English? And they just looked at me like I was an alien, and I don't know, I tried to like look into the kitchen until I saw some tofu and just,
So that was the only.
No, like
See,
loads
they
of
were
times,
like
but,
a
no, but
challenge
like,
with
no, but like
language barrier.
normally I'd have like data. So for
Right,
example, in
so
like
you could
Thailand
just-
or Vietnam, I'll like pay for like a SIM card because I was there for longest. Then I'll go on like the translate bit,
Right.
and it can still be annoying because you're like typing. It's like long. You can't really form really good like bonds when you have to do everything over Google Translate.
Right.
Which I think might be also another reason why I ended up like gravitating to the Caribbean in terms of my travels, because obviously you can create bonds more easily when your language is the same, right?
Right.
And really what you remember on your travels, it's not like the museum, it's like the bonds that you create.
Right.
So.
Right. So as we could, it's very obvious to all of us. Zoe traveled to over 50 countries, and as she mentioned, one of the reasons why she will frequent the Caribbean is because of the language barrier and all that type of thing. But you do speak other languages.
Yeah. So my degree from university is French and Spanish. That's what I studied.
Okay.
So I can kind of speak French and Spanish. but
About
never like
80% fluent
it. Sure.
in
yeah.
French and.
Sure. Yeah. The Spanish is better than the French.
Say
but yeah.
something now. Say something in anywhere.
Oh God.
Let me put you on the spot. Say something.
But like,
Akari class.
what do you want to say?
Anything.
So awkward.
We hear campus carnival. Hear me carnival. Campus chaos.
Estamos aquí hablando.
I ain't más already.
I don't know, estamos aquí hablando de muchas cosas y todo el mundo es muy amable y estoy feliz. Y, yeah.
Felicity. I catch on a few words there.
Poquito.
Poquito, eh? Muy poquito.
Right.
All right. So you travel so many countries and you're back here again. So
You sound like those haters on my Facebook.
no,
Oh, she's
how do you
back
deal
here
with the
again.
haters, Zoe? Zoe, how do you
Trinidad
deal with
again.
how do you deal with the haters? And also, what I really want to really find out is what about Trinidad and Tobago that is so special that you just love coming here.
Okay, let's answer that one first. So I first came to Trinidad in 2015, so 10 years ago. And it was because, like I said, I recently at that time got into soca music, so I wanted to come to the carnival here. But like, I'm a person that I'm just quite curious about like how countries work on a more deeper level. So that's why I like to stay in one country for like a longer time to get to know like how do the people think, like how do they cook, more stuff like that. So I didn't want to just come for the carnival. So I ended up using a platform called Workaway where you can like stay in places in exchange for doing some volunteering. And there's a farm called One Family Farm in Moruga, which they like advertise on Workaway. So basically you can stay in Moruga on this farm And you have to like pick okras and like sell yams in like Princestown Market and stuff like that, and then you get to stay there for free. So I did that for like 3 months in 2015
Wow.
in a village called Laloon in Maruga, which most people are like, where's that? Like Laloon village. But yeah, so I basically fell in love with like that village because that's really, I mean, I came to town for like a week for carnival, but I was basically just in that village on that first trip, and that's actually what made me fall in love with Trinidad. And I like stupidly thought like the whole of Trinidad, not like the whole of Trinidad was like that, but that was like my first impression of Trinidad. So like in that village, you can literally like, one of the neighbours came and borrowed the washing machine. I'm not joking. They walked down the street carrying the washing machine to their house. Like they borrowed the literal washing machine. Yeah.
Oh my God.
like people that
I've seen that before, mate.
yeah, like they share like so much. Like it's like if you want to cook and you know like they have pumpkins and you have yams, like you're just going to ask them for a pumpkin and you know they can ask you for a yam. You know, like people share like so much there, and kind of everyone knows everyone, of course, because it's like a small village. People are always like playing cards, and like I learned to play all fours, and you know we're always like cooking a lot of things, bake, pumpkin, whatever. And I just thought like the whole of Trinidad is like that in a way, which it is in a way, but not like to that extreme, you know. And I was there for Christmas, and everyone was like going around house to house, you know, like the whole parang thing. So again, I thought like, oh, at Christmas in Trinidad, the whole country just has their doors open and everyone can just go around. But like obviously it's not necessarily like that everywhere here. Yeah, so that's what made me fall in love with Trinidad, was this village called Laloon and the family from one family farm. So then I was just like, oh yeah, I always want to come back and like see them. But then of course every time I'd come back I'd see them, but then like I might end up going to like Toko for the weekend and meeting people, you know. I would just like expand obviously my
experience,
you know, and I'd go to more places, meet more people, and then in the end I just realized like that it's just such a cool place. I mean, I knew it was a cool place already, but the more I saw, I was like, okay, I need to come back for this event, or I want to come back to see this friend again, or I want to come back because this time I didn't make it to Valencia and I want to go there, you know, whatever. Like there were just more and more reasons. And like compared to the other islands, I really like that it's not that touristy, because you know, in some of the islands, like you're just walking around and every 2 seconds it's like they're trying to sell you a snorkeling tour or something, you know, or they're like they just talk weird, like, you know, in like, okay, let me not actually insult any islands, but in like some islands it's like you're walking around and everyone, I don't know how to explain it. Like here, I walk on the street and I just say good morning. They say good morning, normal, and we carry on. But in some islands, it's kind of like a lot of places where you walk, they're immediately, you know, they're just trying to sell you something, or you can't just be normal. Like here, I feel like I can just be normal, you know. And yeah, also here, how it has the big mix of like Indian and African, you know, kind of cultures. I think that really like shines through. You can be on any street and there'll be like all these different, you know, Indian food and like African food. Well, not African food, but you know.
So we live in a Kalaloo basically, where everybody,
and like
every queen and space where it real boy.
You know, there's always something going on. If it's like, if it's Pagua, if it's obviously carnival, if it's something for like an African emancipation thing, you know, there's like so much different cultural events just going on all the time. And I just think people here are just like always like down to lime. Like, you know, on any given night I could find someone to like go to karaoke, and there would be a karaoke like any single night of the week. I'd want to go to karaoke, like there'll be one, right? Like any weekend I want to, I don't know, go on some boat thing, there would be one. Like there's just always something happening and like something going on, and someone who is willing to do that, you know. I mean, sometimes I just want to stay inside and sleep, but like there's always the option of like something, you know. And also I love how like there's a lot of fresh food and stuff here, because like I like cooking, I like fruits, you know,
and you're vegan too, so
and like I love like markets, you know. I love like going on Charlotte Street and like you're buying stuff sometimes from people who actually grew that on their farm, you know, whereas like in England it's so boring. You just like go to the supermarket, like, you know. Yeah,
Ken, you have anything you want?
No, I just agree. I think I feel like we in Trinidad, we're just so, I don't want to say numb, but we kind of like, almost no matter who you are, we treat you as like another person.
Right.
So I think I really enjoy that about our culture, because I feel as though it makes people, whether or not you're famous or you're not from here, just feel so comfortable. So like when I was doing my master's, I opened up my home to Airbnb.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I would just meet like people from like all over the world because I felt like because I was focused on my masters at the time, I couldn't travel like I wanted to, no boy. So it was so cool, like people could kind of like travel to me if you
Yeah,
knew.
yeah.
So I met like a bunch of YouTubers. This guy like Marwa, I became real good friends with him. Yeah, and and I was able to like learn so much.
Right.
And I just felt like that's what they said. They were like, yo, like they could just come here and like I talk to them like a quote unquote normal person.
Right.
You know, like whether or not they have 5 million followers or they have 5.
Right.
It's the
Yeah.
same conversation. And
Right.
then the other thing they said as well, because I would like every day I try to do something now, like this is Monday, just for everybody information, right? This is Monday.
Yeah.
But Monday that's something to do.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, so I felt like like I really that just reminded me of like those experiences. And like I'm now about to like so like that same house I did like a whole renovation. I'm now about to like reopen Airbnb there.
Right.
So like it just brought my mind back to that. So now I'm like super excited now to like host people again.
So here's the crazy thing, right? Zoe is just identifying, you know, how special Trinidad and Tobago is. We live in this place our whole life. And a lot of things that we have here, we still haven't experienced. And ashamed to say this, right? Zoe took my family and I to, what is called it, Moko Jumbies, to literally do the whole walking on stilts experience. I live in here my whole life and somebody from foreign.
Come to tell you about that.
So it's kind of embarrassing that we have so much of cool things right here and we take it for granted. And so in terms of your experiences here, to you, what stood out? Is it the events? Is it carnival? Is it you prefer the hiking side of things or nature or,
I think it's
or
more like the
waterfalls?
that
Or
you can do all those things.
You
And
could do-
especially
right.
in such short like proximity, because let's say you're in town and you want to go in some water, like
Right.
Blue Basin's right there,
Right.
Macreep's right there. Really, like, you know, within 1 hour you can change from like a bustling like street to like an empty space of water that you can jump in, right? Like that's really cool. And then in the same day, like in one day you could do all those different things you just listed. Like in
Right.
one day you could experience like the food, the nature, the party, the culture, like everything. I just think there's everything.
You see?
And it's all together, you know. Even like right now, recently on my stays here, I've been playing pan at
Right.
a pan yard that I can walk to from where I stay.
Right.
You don't have to pay.
Tommy ever play pan?
If I play pan,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
professionally,
Like you ever just go in a pan yard and try to
yeah, I pick up some sticks and beat the pan. But if I play it,
Harry Miller, or you play pan before?
I slap myself, I'm a pan.
Yeah.
But like, how cool is that? That like anywhere in Trinidad, right?
you can play a tune.
If you want to learn pan, you don't even have to pay. You just walk to a pan yard.
And they
like
will
in
pay,
England,
yeah.
if you want to learn an instrument, you're gonna have to pay
for everything.
Come on. And like, you probably can't walk there. Okay, I'm not saying every single person in Trinidad can walk to a pan yard. Maybe
Right.
you live like deep in Saparia. Maybe you can't. Probably in Maruga in the village.
Right.
You can't. But you get what I mean. I just feel like things you can access a lot of
So
things. here.
so this is my point here, right? This is a very unique situation where we have someone who loved this place. She traveled the globe and she just, you know, love coming here and love experiencing the things that we deal with here. But yet still there's another turn of the coin where there are people who want to leave this place, boy.
yeah, but not
Or who
everyone.
have left this place.
But not everything suits everyone, right?
Right.
Like, because
Yeah.
we're all different. Like, I might suit here for whatever reason. It might be, maybe I might find like the humor funny. Like, maybe I might like places where in the market, like this man's gonna try and shout you to get his tomatoes, and this man's gonna shout you to get his
Yes.
tomatoes. And when I'm trying to get in a Curep car, they're gonna be trying to grab me and put me in their Curep car because they've got 1 to go and they've got 2 to go and whatever. I might find that fun. I might find that
because
that might
it's
make me
different
feel-
and it's
yeah.
not like within your environment
But
what you're
some
used
people
to.
might hate that. Some people might
Yeah.
hate that. Like, you know, think life here can be like a little bit loud, a little bit chaotic, a little bit like sometimes it feels like there aren't many rules. Like some people might hate that, you know, and that's just because like we're all different people.
You ever
so-
felt unsafe? You ever felt unsafe? Because I realized that you would travel to go where you had to go, you jumping in maxi taxi, you moving like a local. Like have you ever felt?
I think like as a woman, wherever you go in the world, there'll always be like sometimes when men make you feel at minimum uncomfortable, if not unsafe. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
which is completely not unique to here. Like that's just the world that like we live in. So I'd definitely say like there's been times, you know, like when men can be like creepy and like follow you, like saying certain things or whatever. I mean, that's definitely happened here as it has elsewhere, you know. And there's just been like a few. I don't think I can really speak about it on here, but like yeah, there's been a couple of times, but definitely not the worst compared to some other countries I've been to.
Okay. So at this point in time here, where is 47 runs? She's okay. This is recess, boy. Are we on time with recess here? So we just had a little bit of what class that would have been? Social studies, boy? Geography, what is that? Social
A
studies?
little social studies, a little geography.
So we call a little small recess, and this recess here is of course sponsored by Calaba app, and we're going to have 47 runsies come here. So let's stay tuned and take it in. Right, recess done.
All right, so I just like to let you guys know we're still traveling with Zoe, and we want to find out a little more information. We want to go a little deeper into these travel experiences because people like myself, so just understand where I'm coming from. I am from Trinidad and Tobago. I want to travel the world. Probably I'll choose a platform, maybe TikTok, maybe YouTube. How do I go about this thing, Zoe? What to do?
Well, yeah, so obviously one thing you would need before traveling would be money just for like flights and stuff like that. And so obviously step one would be like to save money, but depending what country you're from, that can be a bit of a bigger challenge compared to people from other countries. So we're lucky in England, like let's say minimum wage, I don't even know what it is now, but it might be like £10 an hour. So if you work a 10-hour shift, that's £100. Well, you have to pay tax, but you know what I mean? That's like £100 a day, £500 in a week. That's already a flight right there. Whereas if you're working in a grocery in Trinidad, I think in pounds, it's about £3 an hour, maybe about £30 a day, £35 a day. Like, well, it's going to take you so long to save that same amount, you know?
I feel you. So is it that like you were also like really passionate about wanting to travel and explore?
Yeah. I think I was lucky enough that when I was a child, my family, I sometimes went on holiday with my family. So like when we had like summer holiday from school, you know, I mean, I would say in England, it's like fairly normal to go to like Spain or to like France or Turkey, or, you know, in Europe, there are very cheap flights. You can go from England to Turkey for maybe like £50 or £100. You know, it's quite easy to, you can go to Spain for like £40, you know, so it's quite common to go on holiday sometimes, you know, in the school holidays or whatever. So yeah, I feel like whenever I went on holiday with my family, I was lucky enough to have like really interesting experiences, and it always made me think, oh, when I'm an adult, I want to like travel more. And then when I was like 19, I had my first summer job. I worked at the Wimbledon tennis tournament, and I saved like £1,000 from doing that over I think it was like the first summer break from university or something. I can't really remember the timing, but anyway.
What was
I
your
just
room?
I was
A
like
ball girl?
no, I was like a steward. So you know, for like the VIP lounges, I had to like
Okay.
hold open the door basically.
Right.
In this really stupid uniform. Yeah, so anyway, so with that money, like I didn't need to really pay like bills or anything, because at the time I had a student loan like from the government. So I could use that money for like something fun. So I was like, okay, I want to go to Jamaica, because at the time, like I said, I'd got into like dancehall music.
Right.
So every weekend I was like in these like dancehall clubs or whatever in London. So I was like desperate to see like, where's Vibes Cartel from? Like, where's Movado from? You know? I thought I like understood Patois from the lyrics, you know? So I just like wanted to go there. So yeah, I basically used the £1,000 to buy a flight to Jamaica. And so that was like where it really started, because I went by myself and I slept on somebody's couch for 2 weeks, like up in this like countryside community, like yeah, up.
Who's your favorite dancehall artist?
So like it actually like was Vibes Cartel, but then like last year I went to, and also popcorn. I love popcorn a lot. I had a popcorn car sticker on my car. But I went to a Movado concert in Guyana last year, and I'm such a fangirl. Like I'm a shameless fangirl for like anything I'm a fan of. So I discovered by like stalking loads of Facebook pages that Movado was going to have this radio interview. So I was like, I'm going to the radio station. I'm going to wait outside because I want to meet him. I don't care. I'm a fangirl. So I went there, waited for like 3 hours outside the radio station, and I didn't even get dressed nicely for anything because I came from like somewhere else. And I made like, or dragged a few friends with me as well. So yeah, waited there, and then he eventually arrives like 3 hours late in this like kind of like a maxi, it was like a big car, and obviously the windows were all like blacked out and stuff. And there was like a courtyard area, a bit like the size of this room, you know, like, so the radio's over there and he's parking the car. Well, his driver's parking the car over there. And I'm not the only one with this idea. There's maybe 15 people like dotted around the courtyard that had the same idea as me. So anyway, he comes out of the thing now with like this towel over his head, and he's got this whole like massive entourage, and the air is just like silent. Yeah, like no one knows what to do or say because he just is like so cool. You just don't know like what you can even say to him. And like
anyway,
you know, and just because he's got like the towel and he just looks so serious. You can see he's making like a beeline like straight for the thing. Obviously, he doesn't have time for everyone's nonsense. And then all these people like around him. But I don't know, I'm just so shameless with my fangirl thing. I just literally walked up to him and I was like, hello, can I have a picture? And he was like, yeah, sure, how are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And then we took this picture. And then like most people didn't get one because they were like too scared to ask.
Say it in his accent.
No. But basically, like I already kind of had a crush on him. But then after that, like it just grew so much. So, because I don't know, like he only said like
Golly
3 words
God,
to me,
boy.
but, like,
Golly
that was
God had
enough.
him, boy.
So you can ask my friends for like the rest of the day. I was like, hey, guys, I met Movado for like literally the rest of the day. And then I think his concert was that night, or was it the next day? I can't remember. But luckily I had VIP, so I was like standing in front of the stage, and the whole time I was like, the stage was here, I was literally right here the whole time, just like staring up at him. Yeah. And anything he asked, he was like, oh yeah, you know, ladies, is it true that you love Gone Man? Like anything he asked, I was like, yes.
Bad man, she know.
Anything you say.
Can I ask a question after?
yeah.
When you finish, I
Yeah.
have a question. And
So basically now I was like, maybe I need to switch sides, you know?
So have you officially switched sides? There is a wrong answer. All right, Mila, your question.
what I wanted to find out from you is, how do you feel about the public perception of Travel with Zoe?
Oh, well, I think there are a few different perceptions.
Yes,
So I think like some people think, oh, she's like so free spirited and she just loves traveling and she loves Caribbean culture. Like she is independent, blah, blah, blah. She doesn't care what people think. That's cool. It's quite accurate. But then there's this other perception. Some people think like she loves like partying. She loves man. She's like obsessed with like black men. She like
The lion?
Was he excused?
She
I'm
like-
so confused, but what wrong with them?
she like
I seen
she
it
like
that.
travels across the world to like find men to sleep with. Like she only sleeps with men from Laventille. She like it's just like weird things like which I've
Bad man,
literally
she love-
seen in my
bad man,
literal
she love-
comments, like all of these things, right? She hates Indian people.
Wow, nah, that is a whole next.
Like she's only in Trinidad because she likes to receive free things. She's only here because in her home country she wouldn't be able to make any money. Which like if I wanted money I would just like go to England. Like my old job like paid way more than TikTok will probably ever pay me. Anyway, so yeah, those perceptions I think are just like a bit strange because even I remember like when my TikTok was now kind of growing at the time, obviously I didn't know so many people here and I was using these platforms. Like I mentioned the Workaway one where you could stay at the farm, but there was also this platform Couchsurfing where you can sleep on people's couches and they have like proper profiles. They have reviews on this website. It's like a proper established website, you know? So I put in my daily vlogs, oh, I'm couch surfing at this person's house. I went to bed, you know, I'd show the couch, like where I went to bed. And sometimes I'd couch surf with a family. Sometimes it might be with a woman, but sometimes it might be with a man, you know? But obviously if I choose to couch surf with a man, which is less often, I'll make sure it's one with like loads and loads of reviews from women. So I feel comfortable enough to do that, you know?
Right.
And yeah, I remember any time I would show that I was sleeping in a man's house, but like on the couch, I'd show the covers on the couch. I'd show my head going on the pillow on the couch, right? Every time in the comments, oh, it's freeness for penis. Oh, you're here. Can I curse on this podcast?
Sure.
Oh, you're here to fuck all our men. Oh, you're like, we know what's happening on that couch. We know you're not really sleeping on there. And it's like back then, like now they can make excuses for those comments because they can say, okay, you've made the Red Thongs video, this or that. But back then,
Yeah, we going here now. Yeah.
anytime they like say
Yeah, they were
things
saying
to
that
women,
before the Red
there's
Thong.
always
Yeah,
this
sure.
excuse, right? Because in the beginning, like I barely even like in the beginning, I find like my content was so like over the years,
Clean.
like, because I started to not give a fuck after a while because I was like, even when it's so clean, you're gonna
They
talk
still-
about me this way anyway. So do you know what? Let me just be outrageous. But yeah, because you're gonna say the same thing regardless, right? But like literally in the beginning, all I was doing was like eating doubles, going to like waterfalls. Do you know what I mean? It was literally like even my clothes were very normal, but I was always very careful that nothing was like see-through, nothing was like with my ass hanging out. Do you know what I mean? Like it was literally like so
Clean,
yeah, and like
corporate friendly.
wholesome, you know, like
Yeah.
in my opinion, I wouldn't curse on there. Like do you know, even when I go to parties, I didn't used to feel myself like whining or whatever. Like now I do, because now I just don't care. But like, so it's like, if you're going to say all that from simply a woman putting her head to rest on a couch in a house that belongs to a man, like, why don't we just be outrageous then? Because you're going
They go and say something anyhow. They go and say things anyhow.
So yeah, I just think like, because I know that the content was so clean, they had the same perception.
Yeah.
I kind of know that it's not really my fault, and I kind of know that like it's just based on, I think it's often based on like their own experiences.
Yeah.
So to me,
Projection.
if a man comments on my thing and says, "You're staying in a man's house, so I know you're fucking him," all that tells me is that you wouldn't let a woman sleep in your house without fucking you. It tells me that you're a rapist. Do you know what I mean? Because why would that even cross your mind? Because if I told you I was couch surfing on a man's house, I don't think that would cross your mind.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
yeah.
you're not like that. Do you know what I mean? So like, to me, it's usually just like a reflection of themselves. And even I remember one time this woman, she even admitted it. So I posted this vlog about like a night out at like a party, and it was a really good time. Like, you know, when like the vibe is just right, you just have like a great night. And I showed in my vlog, I said I had a great time, and I showed the vlog that I just like went to bed like at the end of the night, right? And because I love, like, you know, you're just drunk and finally you can just like get in bed, like, oh, thank God, I can just go to sleep. And this girl in the comments, she was like, "Oh, you said you had a great night, so it must have ended with a jam, right?" Or like something like that. And I was like, "Oh, it actually ended with me just like going in my bed, but like, okay." And then she even said, she goes, "Oh, sorry, girl, that's just how good nights have to end for me." And it's like,
Okay.
that just says it
So
all,
they
like,
bring their personality into
they
your
do.
yeah.
So the more you
They're
actually
right,
like
yeah.
look it,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
the more
yeah.
you study it, the more you realize that they are actually just projecting
Themselves, yeah,
either
themselves into
or,
your
like,
experience.
their fantasies, or like they're projecting something. you
Yeah.
know? Maybe like their insecurity. Like maybe one time they met a white girl who she only liked this type of guy, so now they think like they're projecting something.
Yeah.
Just before you ask your question, so just to expand on that a little bit, mentally though, does it affect you mentally when people spew so much a negative energy toward you? Like, I know that you're human, but you're a public figure as well, and there is this perception that once you're a public figure, people automatically dehumanize you.
Oh yeah, they definitely
You
do.
know, so how does that affect you?
I think normally it's okay, because to be honest, they don't really do it in person. So like when I go on the street, I feel like a lot of love, like in the countries where my content is like viewed. So like Trinidad, Guyana, St. Vincent, whatever, like people are only really like nice to me on the street. So I feel like that's maybe a bit more of a realistic, you know, that's actually real life.
Yeah.
But like sometimes I think what I sometimes don't like is like Facebook is like the worst.
Yeah.
And sometimes
Facebook and Twitter.
so like
No
sometimes
filter at all.
What I don't like is when like I wake up in the morning and I do reach for my phone like really fast, because obviously it's like kind of my life, right? And like sometimes I don't want to really study stuff about my own content. I just want to scroll down and see the news. Like, you know, I get my news off Facebook, like all the gossip about Vibes Cartel, about the show, whatever, you know, you're going to see. I personally find that on Facebook. So I open it up, be scrolling. I just want to see some funny things about, like, I don't know, somebody ate this doubles and they got sick, or, you know, I just want to see like lighthearted things and a bit of news like in the morning. But then I'll see like memes about me, like, and it's like, I didn't click on my profile. I didn't search Travel with Zoe. I just was trying to like wake up and see what went on last night, you know, like in the world of gossip or whatever, like, do you know what I mean? What went on around me. And so I'm scrolling, reading about the doubles, reading about the concert, whatever it is. And then every like 10 scrolls or however much, it varies each time. But there are days when like all it takes is 10 seconds before like it's some like disgusting, you know, like Travel with Hoey or like whatever.
Is that a new one? I never
Sorry.
I never heard that one.
Sorry, hold on.
A new one, boy.
Hold
My
on.
God.
Pull up.
Guys, that's so old.
No, but that's a real thing?
Yeah, they edit the Pornhub logo to put like I can't even remember my name in it. Like, so, or they'll like one thing they do, which I think is like so.
I am shocked.
If it's one thing trolls are, the original, they're very creative. Like they come up with some kind of
shocked.
things that's
But
like,
also
what?
one thing like that they do that I just think is so like pathetic is like, okay, I'm a person that I want to show that like we're all good enough just as we are. So like if I want to go live, for example, I want to like make a video of me eating something in the house, I won't like brush my hair for it, I won't like get changed for it, like however I am,
It's authentic.
I'm gonna come on the video,
Yeah.
right? And even with the lighting, if this is where I'm sitting on this sofa, I'm just gonna go live here, even if the lighting makes, like I have dark circles all the time, yeah, even if the lighting makes my dark circles look worse, okay, this is where I'm sitting, we're going to go live, this is how I look, if you don't like it, go away, yeah. And one thing I think is so low is when they'll screenshot me on a live in a purposefully
And it
like
got open,
unflattering,
yeah.
you know, you have like the food half in your mouth and like the lighting's so horrible that you look more like wrinkly than you are or whatever
Yeah,
it is.
yeah,
And they'll
yeah.
screenshot this and like put it all over Facebook. Oh, she's really aging awfully. And you know, like all these things. And it's like, how pathetic.
Guys
You
in
have to
person,
be.
Zoe, we could all say Zoe does not look aged in person. She looks very youthful. Skin is glowing. Okay, so y'all need to, ease up.
But you know what I mean? It's like, imagine that being your life, that like you want to go on someone's live when they're innocently like eating some watermelon, right? And catching up with everyone about their day. And you want to wait until the way they're eating that watermelon makes them look as ugly as they've ever been. And you want to screenshot that and you want to share that with the world.
Boy, you had a real serious thick skin to walk in.
And back broad.
Yeah, as a public figure or any type of that thick skin, because everybody have that power or everybody have their views, everybody have that freedom now with social media to do
Give them
whatever,
out
say whatever
liberty.
they yeah.
But I think like it kind of, even though it's obviously not the nicest thing to like see it, I feel like it also, for me anyway, in a way it's become a bit like a superpower, because I know that whatever I do is going to be a problem. It kind of just makes me feel like I can literally do anything. Like if you told me now like I need to dress up as a cucumber and go and jump up and down on Charlotte Street, I'd be like, why not? Like it's not going to change anything at this point. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like actually quite like empowering in a way that I feel
freedom
like,
now too.
because,
Freedom.
and especially because like it's
Fearless.
because it's reached a point as well that like I don't really feel like there'd be like repercussions in terms of like some people have, like you for example, you're like a singer who's looked up to in like certain circles. There are certain things that if you did it would maybe ruin your career like in some ways, but I feel like for me at this point I can just kind of, I mean, I wouldn't do things that my morals don't agree with.
Right.
But I mean, in terms of like doing like shameless things.
Nothing
I
could
don't
hurt you
care,
right
'cause-
now. Nothing could hurt you
You know
right
what I
now.
mean? Yeah.
Yeah, now I always say like when you have those challenges, like from a public relations perspective, just lean into it. And I feel like leaning into it gives you a type of authenticity like with the audience where, well, one, some people be like shocked and it's almost like they're shocked out of like continuing to troll you. And then your actual core audience like really respects you now because you didn't like, you weren't pretending, like you were just being authentically yourself.
Authentically.
Yeah.
And I feel that authenticity, we as the audience, that appeals to us.
Yeah.
So I feel like, I mean, maybe or maybe not I saw the memes, but I feel like whenever we had a conversation or whenever I would, take in your content, like that's what I would get.
Yeah.
So if you didn't do that because of somebody else, then like I would just never receive that,
Yeah.
For sure.
But what keeps you motivated though?
Well, I don't want to have to like go to England and work a normal job. So like, yeah, this life comes with obviously a lot of challenges. And to be honest, the money is so rubbish from TikTok. It's actually insane. But so I need to keep growing my platform, right? Otherwise, what am I going to do? So really just like the freedom of it kind of keeps me motivated, I suppose, because I want to be able to like, if tomorrow I say, right, I want to go and spend a month in St. Vincent, like I can with this, and I want that to continue to be the case. So I just have to like carry on. And also, sometimes like I get messages quite often actually, mostly from women being like, I literally just booked my first ever solo trip because of you, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes like I reply and we end up having like a nice conversation. And even like, I mean, I've posted thousands of videos and obviously you guys haven't seen all of them. But like, for example, 3 years ago, I ended up like actually making a video about like a sexual assault experience that like I had in Jamaica. And I literally had like 5 or 10 women being like, oh my God, something similar happened to me. Thank you so much for speaking about it. Can I talk to you about it? Because I've always been too scared to talk to anyone, blah, blah, blah. And we'd like talk about it and stuff. So, I feel like it is cool to be able to like just do anything positive for anyone online,
I feel you.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's dope. That's dope. So you said like your last job was like paid well, but you still don't want to go back. What was your last job?
Well, the last like longish term job. Basically, I was a team leader for a care team that was taking care of a disabled child.
Oh,
Because she had been in a car crash, so there was like a big insurance claim. That's how they could pay the carers. Because she was like, basically, she couldn't walk and she couldn't talk and stuff like that from the car crash. So we had to like everything, feed her, dress her, like teach her sign language, like try and like play with toys with her, like help her interact with her siblings, like try and get her to make some noises to be able to like talk again and stuff.
Communicate.
So yeah, because it's quite like we had to give her medication through like a tube in her stomach. So I'm not a nurse, but like obviously I had to be trained in, you know, certain things that are like similar to a nurse, I suppose. So because it was like kind of intense and, you know, you're dealing with all these like medications and stuff like that, they had to pay like a little bit decent because it's like an intense job and it's like night shifts, day shifts, 12-hour shifts. I work Christmas Day, you know, things like that.
yeah, feel it. Like you're always on, basically. Just the other question.
Wow. I lost my chain of thought.
Well, I have our next question for Zoe. So, all right, so okay, so right now we're in Trinidad. You have done a good bit of traveling, you know, visited Trinidad a couple of times. We love you here. Hope you love us, you know, just saying. We're nice people. So, like, what's your goal now? Okay, so you have done this for like 10 years. What are the travel with Zoe's goals?
Yeah, so to be honest, I don't really want to have to do this forever because to have to create content every single day is really exhausting. So I really don't want to have to do this forever, but just right now it's my best option. So I think what I would like, but I am very much a believer in that like we can all change our mind tomorrow or the next day, or so I actually think it's quite pointless to make like a 10-year plan. I really don't have one, but basically I think I'll just carry on with this for like, I don't know, maybe a couple years or whatever. And then I feel like eventually maybe I'd like to actually not like fully settle, but be a bit more settled to where maybe I can maybe buy or at least like long-term rent, like a comfortable-ish house somewhere, if that's in Trinidad or wherever that is, and maybe like travel from there but a bit less often, maybe be like at the home for like 2 months and then go away for a month and then come back for 2 months and go away for a month, or like that kind of vibe, you know. And maybe I could end up starting some kind of business if it's like a backpacker hostel so that people can come to that country on a budget, or sense, you know, something that like aligns with your
like
passions,
like what you do.
Or even sometimes I think about like just opening like a little smoothie bar or something on a beach, you know, like
a vegan restaurant,
authentic to your brand.
Yeah, like
which makes sense. And
something like positive and healthy. Or, you know, some countries I've been, I feel like maybe they're lacking, or most countries I find are lacking like a nighttime spot that's like not for alcohol. I mean, I do actually drink and I think drinking is really fun, but I just think like most places I've been are lacking like more of like a healthy, positive, like lounge kind of, no, but for like the nighttime though, like it could still like play music, but it could have like board games,
high frequency,
it could have like a ping pong table, like things like that, you know, if you just want to be out in the night like and catch up with your friends, but not in like a really loud environment and not with like drunk people everywhere. Do you know what I mean?
I know that I find like real ironic too. I feel like the opposite is true, meaning like a daytime where you could like party. Because I feel like,
well, that too.
Yeah, because I feel like people over 30, like,
I love day parties.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, like we want to go party and then, you know, like 9 o'clock we home. Yeah. 9 o'clock we in our bed sometimes, you know. So I was just saying like, but I love that as well. I'm a big fan of like games, ping pong. I feel like it's something that really, really eases your mind. It's an indoor game. You could play it any time of night. So I definitely think that's an idea that, you know, could work. So hit me up. Call me. I might call you, but yeah, I think it's a real something that you could definitely pursue and develop over time, and maybe even do it like a pop-up initially, before like, you know, you get like a permanent space, so that way you have a following, and then of course like that plus your online following could actually, you know, like go like
right now I definitely wouldn't be ready. Like I still want to travel like India. I still want to, do you know what I mean? Like I'm definitely not ready now.
Yeah, you've ever been to India?
No, I really want to. And I really want to go like
Mauritius
and Ethiopia. They're like the top 3.
I see.
Yeah,
we look out for your vlogs from there for sure. yeah, I feel you. Oh, Jesse.
So yeah,
or more questions?
Just one more. So like, because I into plenty documentaries and
me too. I love documentaries.
And like, you can have a documentary on like Zoe now, like, but if there's a movie Yeah, like literally, like take all your content, everything, throw that on Netflix and like somebody,
So
produce it in such a way that I think that's interesting.
But you
by itself.
realise, yeah, I didn't miss a daily vlog for a year and they're all still on TikTok. And there's this AI thing, which I haven't paid for, but I know somebody who has. And he told me that, but basically I'd have to go through, let me know if I can pay someone to do this yet. I'd have to go through TikTok and download
Right,
all 165 daily vlogs, put them in this AI thing using some device that has enough storage for that, yeah. And it could put them into like a movie. And it would be a movie of a year of my life. Every single day we would see what I wore, what I ate, how I traveled for a whole year, right? But I'm just too lazy. I don't like technology. Like I can't be bothered to like download 365 things.
So if somebody have to actually produce a movie with Zoe, what would the title be?
I don't know, travel.
And who would play your role?
Oh God, I'm so bad with actors. I don't know any of their names.
I can see the cover
Sorry.
art now.
Is he covered?
The cover art would be like, you just see like corner of like a red tongs,
Yeah.
and then you'll see like Travel with Zoe's face on it, and then like Aaron Duncan looking
Oh
up
my
center
God.
in the corner.
You wrong, get you right.
Like most of my interesting travels happened before I even had TikTok, and I'm so annoyed because I feel like if TikTok existed like 10 years ago, oh my gosh, I would literally be like, wait,
Redo it.
Christmas list. You know what I
Redo
mean?
it. That's okay.
I know, but like how? Because before TikTok, I was like in Haiti climbing mountains by myself in a pair of flip-flops. Before TikTok, I was like in Panama living next to this big drug dealer, like looking in his drawers full of all these, like, the story times are like basically all from before TikTok. So it's like really annoying because, back then we only had like a BlackBerry and it didn't really have much storage, and like it wasn't in our like brains back then to really take videos. Do you know what I mean? It was like you snap a couple things for your Twitter or for your like Facebook or whatever, but you don't really take videos. So all these memories are just like in my head with like 1-2 photos. You know what I mean? Like in Haiti, this man tried to put a voodoo curse on me in a market, and this lady selling peas had to like rescue me and get me to shell peas with her. And all these like random stories that like I just wish there could be like more evidence.
I'm sorry, could you just elaborate?
So I
Like you can't just, like what going on there?
Elaborate on that.
That's
voodoo,
not
innit?
something that I can just.
I voodoo spell for what?
I don't know because I
They
don't
had
speak that
they
much
had a
Haitian
Travel
Creole.
with Zoe doll. They had a doll.
No, so like I was in this market in Cap Haitian, which is like the second city, and I was staying with like this random family that I had met in the Dominican Republic. They're like missionaries. Well, the man was an American missionary and he had married a younger Haitian woman, and they had a little mixed race daughter. So they had like a missionary building where missionaries can sleep, but they had no trip at that time. So they were like, you can come and stay in the building if you want. So that's what I did. But they were like mostly busy in the daytime. So I mostly explored by myself. But they sometimes, this one day, they took me to this market. I think the man maybe didn't come. I think it was just the woman. And she was just like doing her weekly shopping, whatever. And we were going around. And this market was like fascinating. Like I'm obsessed with markets. And this market, like in the meat section, it really was like a different smell, and they had like these literal whole pigs, and they're like hacking at them with these like axes. There's like blood spraying everywhere, whatever. But anyways, there's like voodoo stands in the market. So these like I have a picture actually,
Like where you could buy stuff.
yeah, and I
Okay.
actually bought one thing as a souvenir, and I still have it. It's like my favorite souvenir ever.
So
And it's like
you have like a voodoo souvenir.
it's like this red liquid, and it says something weird on. I mean, it's like an old beer bottle. It's
Did
probably
you
just
use
like.
the red liquid on your current man? This is not related.
No, I've never opened it. It's like a sealed bottle. I've never ever
you
opened it,
have
and
it
this
in
is from like
case.
10 years ago.
So basically, if you want you know who one is, right? Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just be clear.
So
Okay.
anyway, whatever, we're going around this market now, and like I'm a bit like I always like walk ahead, like I always think, oh, I know the way, like I always think even if someone's showing me around, I'm like, oh, whatever, like I just explore.
for sure. You're
So,
born,
come on, like they're busy like weighing their pork, like let me just like walk ahead, So I was like walking ahead, and it's like really busy. There's people carrying like 5 dead chickens on their head. There's like motorbikes, it's like just like super hectic and dark and dusty and busy.
Haiti life.
And then this man starts like shouting stuff at me in Haitian Creole, and I'm just like trying to ignore him because why would you be shouting at me? Like I haven't really done anything wrong. So I just like carry on like walking around looking at the stuff, whatever. And there's like all these ladies like shelling pigeon peas into like baskets, like sitting quite low down on these like stools. And then one of the ladies, she like came from the pigeon piece, she like stood up and she was like, but obviously there's a language barrier, but like I do have a degree in French and I had tried to teach myself some Haitian Creole, so I kind of could like half understand. So basically I understood that she was telling me like, this man is doing something bad to you, like you need to come here, like come and sit with me, like you need to move away from him, blah blah blah. So I was like, okay, cool. So then I come and sit with her and she shows me how to shell the peas, and then like we shell the peas, and then eventually the woman that was hosting me, like she came back and then she explained to her in Creole like, oh, you know, he was
shellings,
trying to do like a voodoo curse or whatever. And then like, this is just a random bonus part of the story. So I said to the lady that was hosting me, like, please can you take a picture of me and the woman? And like I asked her, is it okay for us to take a picture? Like the peas woman. So the lady, I gave her my phone and she took this picture of us, which I still have. And then like I showed it to the lady and she literally was like so obsessed with it, because I think maybe they didn't have like camera phones, the ladies that were shelling the peas. She was so obsessed with it. She was like so proud. And then she passed it to the next lady. She was like looking at it, laughing, telling, oh yeah, you know, like, and then it went all the way down this line of the peas. Wow. Like my phone, I could just see it going like further and further, because every lady was like looking at it, like loving the photo. And I was like, okay, bye. It's gone down like to like the sixth lady. But no,
so you left your phone?
No, they gave it back. Obviously I wasn't even worried, but like it was just cute how like they were literally like each one, oh yeah, it's so cool, like passing it down the line of the peas ladies.
I feel I would just have a strategy for them to get a shell people.
Shellings.
You're right.
Look at the next one there.
Here it comes.
Shellings today.
So the folk guys, you want to get the shelly peas with and then laughing.
Oh yeah.
Shellings.
And also that was the same day I accidentally ate a plate of meat for the first time in my life.
How it tastes? Good?
Well, yeah, but
Don't
like,
fight, don't limit now. Don't fight, limit at all.
They use like so much seasoning, so it just tasted like the seasoning. I thought it was like a bean stew, but it was a beef stew.
It ain't Trini flavor.
And yeah, I literally had like the worst stomach for like 2 whole days.
So Zoe, why be a vegan? What's the reason for being vegan?
Well, I was raised in a family that didn't eat meat, so it was just kind of normal to me, you know.
I see.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and like I just don't like the idea of it, but that's probably just because I was raised that way, you know.
Yeah,
I imagine if I was raised in another way, that would be the case.
Okay. Is that kind of like popular in England where you're from?
Definitely like more common there than it is here, I would say. Yeah, but it's obviously still a minority.
Yeah, understood.
But it's definitely more widely understood there. Like here, there's been a lot of times I say vegan and they're like, okay, margarita pizza. And I'm like, no, that's cheese.
All right, nice.
Vegan and vegetarian.
Yeah, we kind of interpret that vegetarian all that time.
Yeah.
Good, yeah. Harry, you have some questions, so.
Just one question. Zoe,
Hello.
what keeps you motivated?
What, like, with what?
To keep creating content.
Oh, because if I don't create any content, I won't make any money. So I have to.
Survival.
No, but like in the beginning, it was kind of like I was just kind of like quite proud of myself, because in the beginning, I don't know if like when you started following me, but in the beginning I used to do daily vlogs every single day. So I used to record, I used to wave at the camera in bed when I'd wake up, and I used to film everything I ate, every transport I took, everything throughout the day until I went to bed. I'd film the bed or whatever, right? And I would edit it up into like a 1-minute thing, and that was every single day with like no break. Even if I felt sad or I felt angry or I felt sick, like I would force myself to like keep up with this every single day, which was like a huge commitment. So I think that just like I didn't want to break the streak, you know? I was like, Zoe, you've been doing this every single day for like 100 days. You can't stop now just because you feel sick. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was just like proud that simply me like being myself, like showing how I wake up, this plate of food, even if it doesn't look good. Like, I was proud that like that had built me a platform. Do you know what I mean? And I felt like, oh, I actually am enough. Like, just being me.
Being your
just,
authentic
do you know
self,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like, that's actually enough. Like, people actually, not everyone, but some people actually like it. So I just kind of felt to carry on, because I was like proud of it, and let's see how long I can keep up the streak for. But then in the end, maybe like half a year ago now or something, I was like, okay, these daily vlogs are ridiculous, like it's too much time, you know. And there were also certain things that I started to do that, or it was always a thing that certain days, like let's say like I don't know, if I link someone I'm not supposed to link or whatever, how do I put that in the daily vlog, right? Like, so I found myself having to kind of just like film my shoes and be like, oh, I went to meet up with someone, but I'm only filming my shoes, right? Like, and trying to hide things.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
How do you do the voiceover? How do you say what you did if it's something that you don't want people to know, right? Like,
right.
so then it just got annoying, and I was like, I want some privacy. Like, if I want to just spend 3 days like rotting in my bed. I don't want to have to like justify that on my daily vlog, right? So that's why now I don't do
as much
daily vlogs anymore. I still do content, but it's more like, okay, let's go to this restaurant, let's go to this waterfall, but you don't have to see what I was doing that morning. You don't have to see every single thing I ate. You don't have to see how I woke up. Like, it's just not your business. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't believe I actually felt like I had to do that for so long.
How long you were doing it?
Like 2 years straight. Well, the longest streak with not a single day. I told myself I'm going to do a 1 year streak with not a single day lost, and I did that 1 year. But it was basically 2 years with like a couple days lost, but then a 1 year like full streak, which is just like insane. I literally can't believe I used to do that. Yeah.
So Zoe, if you could teleport to a country in the morning, what's the first country we go to?
Oh, in the morning. I've been craving a Jamaica trip recently, but I really want to go to Mauritius. Don't know, just always wanted to go to Mauritius, and like the flights are always really expensive, so I've not been.
Okay.
Yeah.
My question now.
Hello.
So, I was writing it down here. I wasn't texting. So, I don't know if you consider yourself to be a musical artist.
Oh.
But as an artist myself,
Yeah.
I'm always curious about the personal side of the journey. Right? So my question to you is, what have you learned about yourself being in that space, that musical space?
Yeah. Well, it all happened so fast. Like, it was so much out of my comfort zone because it was never supposed to happen. Like, you know, I went to interview Aaron Duncan for my TikTok, and he ended up telling me to make a song. Like, I literally went there thinking this was an interview for my content, and came out having dropped a preview of a song on TikTok. So it's like, I really, like, growing up like in school or in any summer camps or stuff like that, I always hated like the kind of performing thing. So I'd always try to avoid like drama, dance, you know, singing, because I just feel like it's just not my thing. I'm better at like maths or like, you know.
Right.
So the whole thought of it all just made me like kind of uncomfortable. And then when I'd end up being in a party and they'd pass me the microphone, like, obviously I couldn't show it, but I was just like downing the rum at the back, like trying to just get drunk before I had to do that, because to me that's just so uncomfortable. I don't know. So I guess it kind of taught me to maybe like not care even more. I mean, I don't think I, like, obviously being a TikToker, you can't care that much what people think, right? But I think the music, it forced me even more to just be like, this is what you have to do right now. Like, someone's put a microphone in your hand, like you just have to do your best.
Right.
Like,
you have to do it, whatever.
Yeah, like you just have to do what you have to do, literally, because how stupid will you look if like you have a song out that's like trending on TikTok and you're in a party, they call you up or they pass you the mic and you say no thank you. Come on, you'll look so stupid, like, right? Or you stand there and whisper it, like, you can't do that, right? You have to actually just fake your confidence. So yeah, I guess it taught me to like fake confidence more. And I don't know, that's a hard question.
Good. That's good. Good.
Like, I guess it was fun to like explore, because some songs are like true, right? Like sometimes you might write a song and it's truly how you feel. So like with Single, like No Man No Stress, it was truly how I felt, because like at the time I was so fed up of like everyday men being like in my comment section being like, oh, we know you're only traveling to look for a man. Oh, how are you traveling by yourself?
Wait.
And at the
Men
time,
always think that they center of attention. It's
So
like
everything's
everything
about
we do is
them.
for men. Oh my
you know
God.
what I mean? Everything we do. So I just like truly at the time had been single for like more than a year. And genuinely was just so happy. Like at the time, like now I don't move around so fast, but at the time I was really like going from country to country with my backpack, like really motivated by my daily vlogs. Like I truly felt like I don't have the time to date anyone, because when I would come home every day I would edit my daily vlog. Like that was my evening activity, you know? And I really wouldn't have wanted anyone to say like, oh, you shouldn't be flying here next week, or, you know, I just really didn't like the thought of having a boyfriend at the time. So the song was like legitimately an expression of like how I felt. But then obviously after that I realized that like your songs can't always be maybe an expression of how you feel, because sometimes you just need to run with like a funny storyline, or you just need to maybe express like how other people might feel, you know. So then I realized maybe the lines are a bit blurred, and like some people might assume that everything you're singing is an expression of yourself, or I don't know. That was like an interesting thing to like navigate.
I have to, this is the final question of the night.
What?
And
Has it been an hour?
I told you, yeah, we kind of closing into that day. And
What?
yeah, so
like it's
this
only
is
like 20 minutes.
this is the serious. No, we talking a
Time
while.
flies when you're having it.
So yeah. But this is the question here, right? All you hear the accent. Zoe,
Hello.
do you have a man?
Yeah.
Wait, boy, I wasn't expecting
I was
a-
waiting for the
I
accent.
wasn't
though.
expecting a...
Where the accent?
I wasn't expecting a one-word response now.
but like-
I was expecting a, well, you know...
supposed to just say no man, no stress.
So, all right. So, how that relationship does figure... Like, this is the last thing, you know. This is a close-off. Like, you're traveling.
Yeah, you can have the tea. It's no problem.
So, it's virtual. So, it's a virtual
No,
relationship most of the time. But, yeah, but... All right. Well, that's it. Guys, we done. All we talk about what she love about Trinidad and Tobago. All right. So I guess he's traveling with her, or he's,
no, but
he's here.
this is like a fairly recent-ish thing since like the end of last year.
Okay, good. Okay,
So like
good.
I changed my well, I don't know. When I met him, I was like, no man, no stress. I don't want a man. Like we can just lie, but like I don't want a man. And he was like, yeah, okay, no problem. But then he kept being like, oh, but I like you.
So she lying. So you see that single, no man, no stressing. She is lying. Zoe is lying, guys.
Well, Jesse, I'd like to announce that you've come to the end of our time. However, I don't know if you want to do a brief current affairs class.
Current affairs. It's quite unfortunate for everybody across the board. Patrons who have purchased tickets to...
Well, let me give the people some context first.
Yeah. We get into the source of that, but you get into the... Yeah.
So, all right. So the context is that Zoe is a dancehall fan.
Yes.
Ken is a dancehall fan. Jesse's a dancehall fan. Well, Mila,
Yes, I am.
serious?
We are all
Oh, you
fans.
mean of
Well,
course?
I mean,
like-
the way, man, listen, we was in the kitchen, I was like, I real different, listen to me. You know what, so too, so I say, well, she's singing, oots, 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 right?
Everything.
I
grew
don't
up-
know.
I grew up in the Caribbean, you know.
I didn't know she know about
All of these things molded the
dancehall
difference, the
and
dancehall and everything.
You know, ladies,
yeah.
All right, I just ask you a question.
Don't insult me like that.
Just ask
Don't do
you,
me
oh,
that.
gosh, I love. All right, cool. So back to the context. So what happened was myself and all of my friends here, we were looking forward, for our like childhood, hero, right?
Hero.
To return to Trinidad and Tobago where we could enjoy some of our moments, because these songs, we expect them to bring back a lot of nostalgia and reconnect us with parts of our life. And unfortunately, we were disappointed. So currently, obviously in class, you had to talk about what went on over the weekend. So I say, Jesse, we can't the podcast if it is when you really address the current affairs. You have to read the room, and right now that is what buzzing in you. Listen, front page twice, I hope when Mila has to perform, it's front page Mila again twice, same
Well,
room.
like, yeah,
same
create
way,
bacchanal for that front page game.
Hello, I have front page already, yeah?
All right,
Yeah,
well,
front
gosh,
page.
Mila.
Without bacchanal.
And now talk to you in the kitchen. So yes, so my question is, Jesse, because I feel like, I don't really want us to go down like a legal road or anything like that. I feel like enough has been said on
Right.
X, Y, and Z, but it's more like we here in class, we looking forward to this concert.
Our emotions.
I mean,
right.
Joe had such an intimate connection with Movado. She considering switching sides. You know what's going on here?
Right.
She just watched this man in one concert, You understand what I'm saying, bro? So you
does
can
go.
imagine the number of Zoes that would have been able to be converted, who were not aware, of what could possibly happen. But, we were robbed of our opportunity. So I wanted to find out from the panel how people are feeling. And this is how you're feeling.
What was the question again?
This man sleeping in class, boy.
How you feel
How you
about
felt
the
about the the
disappointment with the...
Yeah.
You want to ready first, Les?
Well, I wanted to,
All right, cool.
but I am not really a Cartel fan, eh?
All right.
Movado was my artist.
Okay, partner. Okay, you on the next side, you're on the next side, all right.
But it's very unfortunate for the people that and I know it's a lot of people that sacrifice to buy these tickets, because the tickets wasn't cheap. And to know that you buy the tickets because of Vibes Cartel and he didn't come. So that's a huge disappointment to a lot of his fans. So
But don't you think like it's actually kind of common for artists to not come? I mean, in the like dancehall world. I know
Yeah,
in England
I don't
there have
think-
been lots. I remember I once went to see Dexter Daps. He didn't come. I just feel like kind of see it happen. Kind of.
I don't know, boy. But you sharing news to me because I didn't know it was a common thing. I think this situation was very historic.
Yes. Very peculiar one.
Yeah, this one went to the sky, boy, because it's sad. I just felt real sad across the board for everybody involved, like everybody involved, because this is a situation where he came out in July last year or something like that, and the whole world been waiting to see him. Trinidad in particular been waiting to see him.
Yeah, because Trinidad is one of his
Like,
strongholds.
yeah, of course. Carnival it would have had. Then, of course, we know what happened in Carnival. So then it pushed into this time of the year. So everybody was excited. People started buying tickets early, you know. And then I think the ticket sales probably increased after, well, he performed in Jamaica first. And then we saw the Barclays back to back. So the brand started to do so everybody, the excitement
Everybody wanted
started
to be a
to...
part of.
Yeah, everybody wanted to be a part of it. So then him being here, we were all waiting. It's 13 years. It just sucks. It sucks. I mean, I've been a fan from, you know, teenage years, coming up partying to cartel music with my friends. And as Ken was saying, it's like so much moments with certain songs now. And you could remember the time. You take my way. Well, cartel, I don't know. I know all the melodies, but the words may not really pick up so much, but you don't know. But yeah, so much of them songs, boy. Is our Miami dog? It has so much of songs that I can't remember.
Miami Vice
Vice episode, all.
I think that would leave a bitter taste in a lot of his fans' mouth, in the sense that, because I am not even a cartel fan, and the day after I heard his music playing on the radio and I changed the station.
Wow.
But I think most people were angry at the promoter. That's what I saw.
I just hope that it do not reflect negatively
On us as a nation.
on
'Cause
all promoters.
Yeah.
Because, for
But they
instance,
know that promoter because
if a promoter say I bring in whoever, well, Chris Brown or Michael Jackson or whoever it is tomorrow now, would the public genuinely feel like, okay, I'm going to spend my money here and this artist is going to be here? Like, I think we have an episode at 2 situations from the Keisha Cole into Cartel now where we haven't really gotten, you know.
a full experience.
Yeah.
I think I feel like this incident in Trinidad and Tobago would really I want to say act as a catalyst to usher in I don't want to say like a new era, but this particular time period taking precedent where it would be more important to have like a good, reliable brand, a trusted brand, than say I bring in Drake, basically. Because I think in the lead up to the concert, and again, I'm commenting from the comparatively younger generation of event planners, you know, and patrons as well. We were like, well, we don't know this promoter. Probably he's a big promoter. I'm not saying no. I just saying that we don't know him, right? Apparently, people said he brought Cartel twice before he was in jail. But yeah, when, before Cartel in jail, man was fresh out of secondary school. So we just don't know, right? And I feel like it's one, I feel like the message, event planner should take from this is work on your brand and build a connection with your audience. And I would tell patrons, I feel like just telling patrons, don't be skeptical, is kind of like rude. Like Zoe already has that, opinion.
literally even Movado was supposed to go to London the other day and he didn't. He couldn't go. Yeah, exactly. So, and people had their Movado tickets. Like in England, it's common that the dancehall artists that are supposed to come, I don't know, maybe it's that.
Yeah, I remember doing events in and the promoter that booked me in the UK, he said that they had issues with getting licenses for doing dancehall events. Because of the vibe of the music or the violence around it or the culture, there's a perception there where the promoters not getting licenses for venues. So that became an issue for dancehall music. Yeah, that was back then. It's probably still a thing.
So what I would add is that for me, Love Cartel down, obviously it would have been an historical moment for us. But I think the issue for me and the disappointment was that I feel like the promoters lost the plot. The plot is one Caribbean, not one man. I feel like they put so much a hype around one man that it made everything else seem insignificant, from the marketing of the other artists. And while some people mightn't care for some of these local acts or other acts, I understand from an entertainer's perspective how important gracing a stage like that would have been for some of these artists, whether you like the artist or not. And to have that moment robbed from them, I think was the most disappointing part for me. Because I understand, again, the whole intention was pure, but the execution was flawed, which is a common thing in life. And it really does serve as a catalyst, but it could be in a negative way, because what if somebody else want to have another one Caribbean type of event, and people would no longer have faith in that, because it's like, oh, I don't care, whatever. And our goal as a country is to, or supposed to be, to create a music industry. And I felt like that would have been the start for that, and unfortunately it was the end. Hopefully we could see more events, and the trust would be built with the patrons. But overall, it's an unfortunate thing. But for me, that was the most disappointing part. Like, the experience was robbed for the other artists, because even if the other artists perform, I think like 5 artists perform, they're performing for disgruntled patrons.
That is the toughest
They
thing.
don't want to hear nobody, and it's like it's crazy. And then a lot of the artists too, some of them performing in Trinidad for the first time, some of them performing for the first time, and it's already difficult performing for Trinis, number one. And then to perform for Trinis who disgruntled and they vex and they don't make it clear, I ain't come to see you, I don't want to see you. It's disheartening. So yeah, that was just the disappointing thing for me. But thankfully people getting refunds on
Island E
Frontline
tickets.
and Island E, so that's good. I'm sorry for those who bought physical tickets. I mean, but...
So people who did not show up would get reimbursed. But what about those?
Because it's false advertising,
So if
period.
I go,
In the message that they wrote, they said that based on like their own internal investigation, they realized that the majority of what was offered.
Love to see a Cartel interview. I don't ever skip it. He's so profound, and that is why I was really looking forward to seeing him, because I'm like, and I was disappointed with some of the restrictions, because I understand his brand, but also I understand the reformed brand, and I think that's why educating the public and educating people is important, because there was a lot of ignorance that was surrounding him being present, like as if it was a negative thing, as opposed to we looking at this as something extremely positive for our tourism, for our entertainment industry, because for we to say that, okay, like we house these, not house, but we had these people on our island, our little island, and it creates such an impact, like that is what it's supposed to be about. So you're 100% right with like educating people, and for ignorance not to be so blissful.
tell the story.
Like, yeah.
So this is another episode, Campus Chaos. Zoe, before you leave, you have to sign our board. But thanks so much for sharing your story with us.
Thank you.
This is Campus Chaos. We are the home of champions, 47 production brought together. We are here by the Collabo app. Tommy Sanchez on my far right.
Boom.
Anderson Harry.
Presence.
We have Mila Caribe. 47 Runzi just stepped out. We have Ken Sambury. I don't know the whole Empire team, Taj Baltasar behind the camera. And we have our special guest, Travel with Zoe. So stay tuned for more. I'm out.
I'm not going to say, you sure Ronzi step out or Ronzi run away, Ronzi gone.